Good morning and welcome to the Upper Deck from Pinstripe Chronicles. I'm Lynn, and with me today is my very special guest, Stacey from Locked On Yankees. And we have a lot prepared to talk to you about right after this. So, hey, everybody, here we are, Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to those of you that celebrate. And I think I'm speaking for both Stacey and myself, most of all, happy game 4 of the Houston series. So, Stacey, welcome and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And so I'm now a true follower. I have been for a while of Locked On Yankees. And so tell everybody about what landed you there, how you became a Yankee fan, all that stuff so we could get to know you.
Well, my father, Gus Gotsulias, was born and bred in the Bronx and started going to Yankee games in the late 40s. His mother, my yaya, would pack him a bagged lunch and give him like a dime or a nickel so he could sit in the bleachers and watch people like Phil Rizzuto and the end of Joe DiMaggio's career. And, so he saw all those guys like Mickey Mantle and everyone through the 50s and 60s. And I think if I had become anything other than a Yankee fan, he would have disowned me. So it's Gus's fault that I'm the crazy Yankee fan that I am. I got involved with Locked On in 2018. I was approached at the time. It was a website and a podcast, so there were articles and a podcast, and they hired me to be the editor. And then within about a month, everyone left because they were turning it into a podcast. And then I became the de facto host, and I've been there ever since.
It's funny how life opens up something you never even sought, and there you are. And here you are 5 years later still killing it. And you have several fans in the chat right now, but FJ,
I
Locked
see
On
that. Thank
Yankees
you.
is my other favorite. Oh, okay. I never miss an episode. And that's real good taste, FJ. And I'm gonna make sure to share the link to Stacey's channel during the show. And so Stacey, I neglected to tell you that the first thing we do every week is a trivia question. So I'm gonna put that up on the screen right now. And I think I went easy on everybody this week. I'm I'm pretty sure I did. Last week I think was a little bit of a giveaway, so I'm gonna be a little bit tougher. I mean the opposite. Oh, Lynn and her caffeine. There you go, guys. My one of the week. I hope saying things backwards. Okay, so during the 2004 off season, the Yankees focused on bolstering their rotation. Now that sounds familiar. The rotation consisted of Johnson, Messina, Pavano, Brown, and Boo. I think this is kind of easy because it's kind of recent.
I
So
don't know. That's nearly 20 years ago.
that's true. Well, when you're approaching 60 like I am, that's recent. That's like last
Yeah,
week.
that's true. Hey, I'm turning 50 in August, so
I'm turning 60 in August,
nice. What date?
August 25th.
26th.
Get out of
Stop.
town.
Yep.
Separated at birth by 10 years in one day.
That's funny.
But big years for both of us. And for me, it's the first time in years that the Yankees are home on my birthday. Of course,
Yeah,
they're playing the Rockies.
right,
Um,
because usually they're on the West Coast because they've
yep,
played the A's a few times in the last few years,
yep.
and they're not historically great on my birthday, for some reason, but they did win the night I was born, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for my 50th, we had to do it the day before because they
Mhm.
were on the road on my birthday. So I had my 50th there actually in the old Mohegan Sun, and that was tremendous. So,
Nice.
um, all right. So you guys got the question. Let me see in the chat. I have Jared Wright. I have Javier Vasquez. Um, and those are the only ones so far. Oh, and I think I know from your show that another joint followers here. So Sunil's saying, "Tell me this 3-0 start to our 2024 season is no short-lived mirage. Someone pitch me if this is a dream." Um, no pitching from here. No pitching
Yeah.
from here. We're really hopeful about that. But let's get down to it. After we deserved this opening. We deserved this series.
Well,
And
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, considering they made us I was so angry when I figured out that it was 4 games to start in Houston. I thought, "Who scheduled this? How dare you do this to we don't need, you know,
Sinister.
in the first part of the season," and so far I'm loving it, so I'm not mad.
Seriously. I mean, it's not hurting that the rotate they're having the same rotation woes that we are, it seems. But it but their bats, the bats are what I'm worried about. But still in all, to be able to I already at two games won, I'm like, okay, the worst is we're splitting the series. Because
Yep,
that's how my mentality became after last season. But
right, yeah,
you
and then
know,
when they were down 3-1, I said to my brother, I'm like, "They got them right where they want them." And then Oswaldo comes up and I'm like, "Dude, you haven't done anything all game, hit a home run." 2 pitches later, he hits a home run, and I'm like, "Okay, cool. Thank you for listening. No one ever
yeah,
listens to me. Thank you. I appreciate it."
those are some superpowers there. If you could just, you know, communicate that to them and then you do it.
Yeah,
Um,
it'd be great.
I want to say good morning to NFE and Jonathan, and Uncle Tats is here, the granddaddy of the uncle of the Pinstripe Chronicles. Um, FJ again, good to see you here. And who else did I miss so far? So far, this is and our friend Spencer is here and listening. Hey, Spencer, for you and only for you, since I am trying to keep your job rolling here. Here's the upper deck question of the week, Spencer. Are you ready? During the 2004 offseason, the Yankees focused on bolstering their rotation. The rotation consisted of Johnson, Mussina, Pavano, Brown, and who? And so um, I didn't do a good job, Spencer, finding something timely connected to what's going on right now. But there it is for you. So anyway, speaking of pitches, let's do the pitcher rundown. So far we've seen three. And let's start with Cortez. Stacy, what were your takeaways with Cortez?
It felt like the tale of 2 games where the first inning and a half, 2 innings, he was really shaky and didn't look quite like himself. And then, I don't know, something kicked in and he looked so much better because I think the numbers were he allowed the first 6 of 9 on, and then he retired the last 12 of 13. So completely
Yeah,
just one extreme to the other. The fact that he stayed in there as long as he did, considering how he started, is a miracle. I just feel like he was overhyped and he was stressed out and he got relaxed and then settled down. And, I even joked, I said, if they keep them at 4, maybe they can chip away. Maybe that's how they win this game. And that's how it ended up. Not by any means that we thought were going to happen, because that was a weird game, just the way they scored when and all the double plays and everything else. And then Barry Bonds, I mean, Oswaldo Cabrera hitting home runs. So yeah, but Cortez,
I
I
see what
really
you
feel like
did
he
there.
was just nervous. I just feel like he was nervous. And we talked about it before we went on. I feel like it was the pressure of last season, the injuries, not
Yeah,
pitching as well as he did in 22, because that's a really big that's a lot of pressure. 2022 was definitely an outlier for him.
yeah.
I don't ever think he's going to get to that level again, but if he can get close to it, that would really help.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think there was a glimmer of that coming back on Friday night, and we talked about this before we jumped on also. You know, um when he was using the fastball, it was located better. Um,
Mhm.
and I think that's what got him in the first inning. And I think that's why Blake got on the mound so fast, was
Yep.
probably about those fastballs he was throwing because they were gobbling them up.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but it was like, oh, I'm hungry too.
Mhm.
And but then the purse opens up, right? And we were even seeing some solid cutters from him. So and like you said, he code switched then. Still not 2022, but it was an element of it at least.
Yes.
Some of it is still in there. So I think we should take a minute to get off the bullpen train that we've been talking about the past few weeks on this show. And although I begrudgingly finally you all broke me down and I said, okay, we might need to do that. Um, I just think I think I've taken that back for the moment. Not because, well, we have to actually, and I also think if we're sticking with others, we should stick with him for a little bit longer, and see how it goes, and see how we get, and see how long it takes, on the timetable for Cole, and just go from there. And so, hey, Lori, good to see you. I saw you snuck in, and hey, Dev, good to see you as well. And so, um, Rodon, so Rodon's another one. You never know what you're gonna get. Um, last year, we came to know what we were always gonna get, but that's for sure. But
Mhm.
he had a good looking spring, and so I was feeling like, okay, so this is a glimpse of what we're gonna get, and so, but made me nervous, made me
Oh, yeah.
nervous from the beginning. What's your take on Rodon?
My take is people were too hard on him. I know 4 and 1/3 is not great, but considering what his last start in 2023 was against the Royals, I will take 4 and 1/3 with 1 run any day of the week over what happened in that last start where he couldn't even record an out. So that's already a step up in my book. Um, I like that he worked into and out of trouble. It was a little too much for me, but against a team like Houston, Houston is scary. Okay. They may not have a lineup full of guys that can hit the ball 500 feet, but they have a lineup that's really consistent and can hit the ball steadily.
Right.
And, you know, it doesn't instill the same kind of fear that, like, the Cleveland teams of the '90s instilled in me when I was younger watching anyone pitching against them or even Seattle. I was at Dwight Gooden's no-hitter, and I thought to myself every time a new person came up, I'm like, "Oh, he'll break up the no-hitter. Oh, Griffey. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, Buhner. Okay, yeah," and no one did. So,
Right.
I feel like with Houston, it's just hitter after hitter that you have to worry about, and the fact that he got out of all the trouble that he got into,
Yes.
the fact that his cutter was working because 'cause he's
Yep.
been working on that, the fact that if you go to Baseball Savant, you'll see in the lists of the top 5, he had the top 5 velocities out of everyone pitching. He hit 98.3, which people were worried about in the spring. He had 11 swings and misses. He had that really big at bat to end the inning. Who was it against? Now I can't remember, but that big strikeout that he got, and he was fired up getting off the mound. That's the Carlos Rodon we want to see, and I feel like we're going to see more of that in 2024. I really do. I have a good feeling about him.
Yep.
I think things are going to get better.
I do too. And so I agree we're gonna see more of that. And I also think we're gonna see less of the, you know, the wah
Blowing
wah,
kisses
call
to the
them
crowd.
ambulance, and
Yeah.
blowing the kisses, turning backs on coaches, that sort of thing.
Mm,
Um and and so I think that over the winter, the work he did wasn't just physical. He was very open about the fact that it was mental as well,
yeah.
and took himself to the mountains and, got himself straight. And yeah, I'm here for him. I've always been here for him. Aggravated as hell about him, and I didn't appreciate that he was feeling like Clay Holmes to me the other night.
Right.
But he turns it around, and that's all you're ever gonna want when that happens. And so, hey Frank, hey Melanie, good to see you. And last, but we're gonna get to Cabrera in a second, Frank, by the way. But let's talk about Stroman now. He's
Yeah.
another one that I need to, I guess I need to be like more conservative with my big mouth because I was I was not on the Stroman bandwagon whatsoever. Just from what I saw about him in the press and saw in the interviews, I'm like, we don't need a strutter, in the clubhouse, a chest beating strutter with, flashy, and egotistical. Um, you didn't see a nanosecond of that from his arrival at spring training. And
Yeah.
I agree with a lot of people who said it was really about putting on those pinstripes. He had been a Yankee fan as a kid, and so the Yankee legacy got in his blood like instantaneously.
Mhm.
And on the mound last night, um, I think that he put out a really good first showing. Um,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It wasn't his fault the
Absolutely.
fielders couldn't throw, although he kind of got infected with it too when he tried to throw the ball to home and completely missed it, but, um, considering what was going on behind him, I don't know, did the Yankees catch the Astros' horrible, defensive disease on Saturday? Because it felt that way. I was like, "What is happening here?" Like, did they go out
Bad,
drinking? Like, what's going on?
bad news bears?
No, he
I
looked
don't know.
great. He looked great. I actually like his attitude. I feel like the Yankees need more of that. I love, Soto. I like his just whole demeanor. I feel like he's changing this team for the better. And, people weren't happy with the moves they made in the offseason. I was actually okay with the Stroman thing. Is he Yamamoto? No, but he's a solid pitcher. And if he's anywhere near where he was in the first half, and if he stays healthy, he's going to be the most surprising starter on the rotation
Yeah, I mean, I think he's
or
going to
in
be
the rotation. That's the right phrase. In the rotation. It's
in the.
Sunday. I'm tired. I don't know how to speak.
You really don't have to worry about prepositions here. Um, Typically, I'm very fierce about grammar, but it's Sunday
Normally
morning.
I am too. That's why when I said it, I was like, my brain said "Stace." That's not the phrase. What are you doing?
Look, I give as a fellow person like that, I give you dispensation. You're fine.
It's the Virgo thing. It's the Virgo thing.
It's totally the Virgo thing.
Yep.
And for me, a little bit of 12 years of Catholic nun thing. But anyway, I mentioned drinking. Um, yeah, and you're absolutely right here, Sunil, and this is what Stacey was talking about. Subpar defense behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt about that. But where that fell down, the bats lit up. Um, and so I know that there's been some Cabrera comments in here. Let me just put Frank's up. About he was impressive. Always liked to he shut the mouths of those a couple of days ago who said he's going back down to the minors. And I hope that's not the case. It'll still be on the table. We got to remember DJ's coming back.
At
Peraza
some point.
at some point. At some point, now that we know there's a fracture, but still they didn't change the timetable, which is a little bit suspect to me. Um,
Right. That's why I'm kinda like, we
yeah,
might see
yeah,
DJ at the same time we see Cole at this point.
yep,
So don't even count on DJ. As
yeah,
long as Cabrera's even if Cabrera falls off a little bit, they have Nick Birdie. So
that's right.
and he could play third. So they're fine. I think they're
That's
fine.
right. And when the series started, and we saw Cabrera start, and we're like, okay, I guess we'll see Birdie tomorrow. And halfway
And
through
they said
game one,
they
I'm
were
like,
yeah. Yeah, and they said they were going to. I
yeah,
got a comment from one of my insiders. I got a message from one of my insiders that said, "Oh, the Yankees are lying about, they're lying already because they said Birdie was going to play." I'm like, "Would you not play Oswaldo Cabrera after the first two games that he had? I wouldn't sit him on the bench either. I'd be like, okay, if you keep hitting like this, let's just keep it going. You don't want
that's
to
right.
ruin that." And then look
Right.
what happened last night. I mean, it took him a little while, but he got there.
Yeah, he definitely did. And while he's there, to your point, let's keep him there because he needs to keep being that way until he's not. And
He's instilling fear in Houston fans. Oswaldo Cabrera, of all people, Astros fans are probably like, "Oh, no, not him again."
I know. Meanwhile, you compare the lines between Cabrera and Aaron Judge this series so far.
Yeah.
It's a little
Well,
bit.
he missed that week or so in spring training, so I feel like he's fine. He just needs that extra week. He'll be back to
Yep.
normal.
Yep. And I'm sure we'll see Birdie. I mean, face it, the Yankees are the Yankees. We're gonna see Birdie.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think he was a fair I think he was a pretty good get, and so we'll see him, but I love not seeing him, if that makes sense.
Right,
Um,
right, because that means Oswaldo's doing well, and you wanna see that because he's a great kid. He did everything the Yankees asked him to do. He has 6 different gloves. He played in every position they put him in happily, never complains about anything. He's just happy to play baseball, and now he's showing off what he can do, and it's so much fun to watch.
right, and with no errors at third base either, and so kind of upping his, super utility kinda, um, possible future too, and so, yeah, I think we're all Cabrera fans today. Let's timestamp it because we're fickle, but as of today, I think we're all fans. So wait, oh no, there was so let's see. Someone had me pivoting to Schmidt, and so and I lost where it was. But let's go back to pitching a little bit and talk about the pen. Um, so we need Schmidt to stop making us nervous. I don't think I don't know about you in the chat, but Stacy, are you confident with I'm sorry, not Schmidt, Holmes. That's number 2 for Lynn. I'll take another sip of caffeine. How do you is Holmes our closer? Are you comfortable with that?
Um, yeah, for now, but the thing is they have so many other people in the bullpen that if he can't, you can put them right in there and do it. And they could do the same thing they did last year for a while, like the closer by committee, but it feels like Boone is choosing for Holmes to be the closer. I feel like, and I've said this on my show, Yankee fans were really spoiled by Mo. Really, really spoiled by Mo. And yes, there are some guys that mow people down, haha, no pun intended, and are really strong closers, but that's not what Clay Holmes is. He gets ground balls and, he gets contact. He's not someone who's going to strike guys out all the time. Occasionally he will. I'm comfortable with it for now. I feel like they have enough options in the bullpen that if it doesn't work out, it'll be fine. And it's not like, if they lose Clay Holmes as a closer, it's like a disaster. They have like 3 different guys in the bullpen that can step in there. Ian Hamilton can do it. Caleb Ferguson can do it. Even Jonathan Loizaga could do it if he stays healthy. So I think for now it's fine. And yes, I do get nervous with Clay Holmes. I'm kind of like, whenever he comes into a game, and then I'm like, "Okay." Like, I revert back to my Catholicism even though I don't really do that anymore, but occasionally I'll cross myself and be like, "Okay, just do okay today."
Right. Yeah, yeah, same. Although, yeah, it's exactly that. To me, he's double-sided. He's, either the Holmes that reach for the Rolaids, or he's the Holmes where you're rooting a manicure. It's one or the other.
Right,
Um,
right.
so, but and speaking of Hamilton, um, talk about a that's my comment about Hamilton. I
Ama
mean,
He's amazing, and I love that he came out of nowhere, according to Yankee fans, because Yankee fans didn't know who Ian Hamilton was, and it was another one of these guys that, is he gonna make the team? Like, who is this guy last year? And, it almost felt like a Lucas Lecky where you're like, "Oh, this guy hasn't done things in a few years, and maybe Matt Blake can do something with him," and now he's like the Terminator when he goes out there. He's unbelievable.
yeah, and I mean the way those strikeouts came, and just the stuff that made them come. I'm thinking, okay, let him close from now on. I was ready to anoint him.
I mean, you could see that because I loved the Caleb Ferguson move. You know, um,
Yeah,
Being out in Los Angeles, people didn't really see him, but he's a really strong pitcher. And, having options in the bullpen, I feel like the Yankees doing all that stuff that they did with the bullpen was really underrated in the offseason. I don't think
yeah,
people were making a big enough deal about what the Yankees did to solidify the bullpen that was already good, that lost some guys in a big trade. And it feels like they're not missing a beat right now. I mean, it's
right.
only 3 games in, but 3 games against Houston in Houston when you weren't expecting the team to do as well as they're doing is a good feeling. And I saw a comment before from Sunil. It's not the same as the Rays last year. The Rays had a really easy schedule for the first month of the season, which is why they beat up on everyone. And then everything caught up to them later in the season because it wasn't as easy. This is not the same. Yankees start in Houston, Arizona, and then get the Blue Jays at home. That's not an easy schedule. And if the Yankees
No,
do well, then maybe they are a better team than we expected them to be.
that's right. I mean, there's something to be said for the first three series. It's going to be a huge litmus test for us. And so far so good.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see what happens when we get on the plane to Arizona. But it, and yeah, it was remarkable. I don't think anyone, you know, well, all right, I'll speak for I have to stop speaking for the world. Who am I? Who the frick do I think I am? Um, um, I did not expect this. I didn't. I think anyone who follows this show knows that they're sick of me saying manage your expectations. And I think I
I tell my listeners and viewers to do the same thing. I do
yeah, yeah,
because I don't want you to go in the opposite way where you think, oh, they're going to get swept in 4 games against Houston because they can't beat Houston. They do well against Houston in the regular season, and I said that in my opening day preview. Like they've won the last coming into this series, they won the last 5 out of 7 regular season games. It's the playoffs that's the problem. If they could do this in the
yeah.
playoffs, great.
Right, right. So we're still managing our expectations. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. When you get the best, it's the best ever.
Hmm.
So let's talk about Verdugo for a second.
Verdugo flying all over the field. At least he's putting his body out there and trying to make catches. I mean, he did make that really good catch the other night where he was running. If you're watching, running like this, and I was
Yeah,
kind of like, oh, that ball's gonna get past him, and then he caught it, and that was a good play.
yeah.
Um,
E-
yeah,
Even
yeah.
even the
I don't
one
know what to think of him yet.
I'll tell you what I think. But going off of you, even the one that he missed, when he ran into the wall and that juice box almost squirted out apple juice at that point. How hard he hit it, he missed it, but he's working it. Like he's diving, he's like stunt doubling into walls, and
Yeah.
I think the it was similar to Stroman for me when we signed him. It wasn't even
Mhm.
about the Red Sox because who are they anymore? It was about, oh, I heard this guy, he was mic'd up once, and yeah, kind of funny, but so hella full of himself. And then with the pictures during spring training with like, add 80 pounds to your body in chains. And, why don't you just unbutton the first four buttons of your jersey and be Luke Voigt if you want to be? I'm like, what the hell is this? But his bat showed up yesterday. Or was it Friday? No, it was yesterday. But still not seeing the bat that he was allegedly brought over more for than the field, right? Um,
Yeah.
so
But I mean, it's early. I feel like Verdugo's the type of guy that he's going to show off in Yankee Stadium because of the incidents they had with the fans in Yankee Stadium. I feel like when they come home for the home opener, that's when you'll see Verdugo bust out.
well, yeah, and that's like that doesn't make him a hero. It makes the field a hero because left field is really tough in the
Yeah.
dome.
Oh yeah.
Um, so and I just love the hero worship of Judge that he has to like run over when he does something good, like "Did you like that? Did you like that?" Like,
Yeah, and that's funny. Yeah, I like the group of Verdugo, Judge, Soto. I like
yeah,
the energy that the 3 of them have
yeah,
together, and you can tell that both those guys are excited to be Yankees right now, which is what you want,
yeah,
obviously, but it's
absolutely,
fun watching them so
a
far.
100%. And then there's Soto. Um, and so go on.
Hal, back up the Brinks truck. I don't care what he wants. If he wants $900 million, give it to him. The franchise is worth $7.9 billion. You have the money to do it. Who cares? Who cares about the luxury tax? I don't care at this point. Just get him. Lock him up for the rest of his career. He's the perfect guy to be a Yankee. He's
Yes.
just I said this on my show. I didn't really watch him. I mean, I would see him occasionally when he was on the Nationals, and we saw him a few times when he was on the Padres, but I've never seen him day in and day out. I love this guy. I love that if an ump doesn't get a call right, he kind of looks at him like, dude, I know the strike zone. What are you doing? I love everything about this guy. We're 3 games in and I'm just like, yeah, sign him to like a $1 billion contract at this point. I don't care.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about with that situation at the plate, because he didn't stop with like saying something about that particular call. You caught on the mic the ump saying you're wasting time, like, um, like, get in the box, you're wasting your time, and oh, I said, oh, this might not end so well. And
Yeah.
so, when he got on first, he was, well, first of all, the way he flipped the bat, and and it was that was an approved Lynn approved bat flip while looking at him. I'm like, "Are you sure you didn't grow up in the Bronx? Because, that's the vibe." And even when he got on base and, the coach is talking in his ear, he's taking his gloves off 1 finger at a time and never taking his eyes off the off the off the ump, And
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, he has such
so
a good read of the strike zone. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like
that
it. It's great.
yes.
But yeah, he's fun to watch. Um, I feel like just him being there has changed this lineup so much and changed the energy of the team. And that
Mhm.
even when they're not doing great against the starters, there's always a chance that they'll get to the bullpen. Thankfully, Houston's bullpen isn't that great outside of like Josh Hader, Ryan Presley, and one other guy whose name I can't remember, but thank you, Houston bullpen, for not being great the last 3 days.
Yeah, much appreciated. Suck
Mhm.
again today, would ya?
Y Yeah,
Or
seriously, do the same thing today. That'd be great.
yeah, keep your record perfect. And so, and then you're right about, Soto needs to be a lifelong Yankee from here on out. We'll make room for his number in the stadium, I promise. I know we have a lot of numbers up there. There's room for 22. There
Sure.
absolutely is.
And
And
it'll get the bad memory of Jacoby Ellsbury wearing that number out of everyone's brain.
oh my god, you had to bring that back. Oh my god. Oh my god. Um, so that might bring Ellsbury out of hiding to say, "No, that's my number." Um, but yeah, and yeah, there can't be any money. I don't know why he's waiting, and if he thinks that we've been vocal fans, if he loses if he loses Soto or is close to it, there will
I mean,
be
I know that Soto will wanna go out into free agency, but I don't wanna hear this BS that we always hear from "Well, we tried, we offered something." No. No, no, no. You need to go way above and beyond what everyone else is offering. Don't do this whole, "Oh, we came in second" stuff. No.
well,
Second place is not an option for the Yankees. It's never been, so let's not do that.
look what FJ's throwing down. 15 years, 710 million for Soto.
I mean, he's young enough. He's still really young, so lock him up the rest of
He's
his career. That's the
25.
one time that I don't think it's a bad deal, you know?
Nope, not at all. He's
Yeah.
25 in on your terms, FJ, 40, so he's DHing and, that kind
He'll
of
still
thing
have the same
later.
eye at 40, you know? So even if he's not hitting the ball, he's still gonna walk, so that works.
I'll come wheel him around the bases, and I use a cane on my own as it is. I'll come wheel him around. And yeah, and the other one that really needs, and he would be a career Yankee, homegrown career Yankee, is Volpe.
Yes.
Volpe, there's so much greatness inside of him, and y'all don't even have to charge me 19.99 a minute for this prediction. He really is going to be another one that is going to be the likes of other homegrowns. And who was it that my friend Chris on Twitter said, I see him being the next captain after Judge retires. And I said, that's absolutely what his makeup seems to be, like
Mhm.
100%. And so they better hold on to that kid. And we have some time before we have to worry about free agency, but they better start putting those pennies away now, because he needs to be with us and a long-term contract, um, because he's a star,
Yeah.
um, and really doing so well. Well, he got that Gold Glove, but that muscle, that little bit of muscle he put on, he still looks 12 to me. He'll be forever 12 to me. He's like the youngest
Yeah,
kid.
I noticed that too because I was looking at him last night and I thought to myself, "Oh, yeah, he looks bigger, but his face still looks like a baby face." He's still
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
I like that he worked on his swing. If we can get the Anthony Volpe that he's trying to work himself into, so, more singles and doubles getting on base, but occasional pop also, he's gonna be really good. I have a good feeling about this, I really do. And,
Uh,
last year, yeah, the average was low and, you wanted to see him do more things, because, when he did get on base, there were a couple of instances there where he wreaked havoc on the bases and ended up scoring in situations that the Yankees wouldn't have ended up scoring because he did what he did on the bases.
exactly.
And if you have that kind of a player with occasional pop and he's hitting 20 home runs, hell yes, sign me up every day and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, 100%. And it's going to be interesting to see where they keep him in the lineup,
I want
because
him lead off. I've
yeah,
been saying this and people think I'm crazy, but I feel like he could be such a good leadoff hitter. And again, occasional home run in the leadoff spot, okay, but getting on base, stealing bases, stealing second, stealing third, making things happen, making
yes.
the pitch work. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I would love that. Love it.
absolutely. Get him on there and yeah, get some runners in scoring position data that looks not embarrassing for the team. Uh
Yeah, plus in front of Soto and Judge.
yeah.
Yes.
100%. Spoiler alert, that's not what's going to happen today. I just got the lineup. Um So for those of you that haven't seen it, it just went up 7 minutes ago, and you better not have been peeking while we're fascinating you guys.
Yeah,
Uh
how dare you?
Yeah, really. Um, so we got Torres leading off, Soto, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, DH, Verdugo, Volpe, Trevino, Cabrera, and Schmidt. So they have Cabrera in the 9 hole.
That works.
Work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. But 100%. And hey, TC, good to see you. Yeah, I don't think. Well, I don't think he's been good at hitting lead off, and maybe that is because he's not comfortable. Hey D Rod, good to see you. Hey Donnie, lots of people have strolled in. Um, but they're keeping him there, for whatever reason. Kind of curious to me that Volpe is as far down as he is. But
Well, you know how
there we
Boone gets when he gets something in his head. It's kinda like tunnel vision in a way. Like, he likes
yeah,
to play around with the bottom part of the lineup, but once he gets the top set, it's kinda like, "Yep, that's just gonna be what it is." So,
right.
I don't know. Maybe we'll
Yeah,
see something different in Arizona.
yeah, we'll see. And I guess a lot of it will depend on if Glaber's going to bust out a move of any kind,
Yeah.
um, today. Um, and so today, I know we have Schmidt on the mound. Do you know who we have on the mound for Houston?
Last
I
I
don't.
checked, it was TBD, so I'm not sure.
Right. Hence, they're not in any better position than we are with our starting rotation.
Right, yeah,
But
who was clamoring for, Framber Valdez against Nestor Cortez on opening day when you could have had Garrett Cole against Justin Verlander?
so I'm just hoping that Schmidt, really, it's really going to be about Schmidt today. And Schmidt doesn't make me nervous, but he really has to excel today. He has to bring his shiniest, best stuff today because I think the Astros are going to want to save some part of their face, a left nostril, perhaps. They need, they don't want to be swept in their opening series. This is
Right, no.
already, really bad for them.
It's that's difficult to do too. A 4-game sweep is not easy at all for a team to do. And when it happens, it's kinda like, "Whoa," 'cause, what year was that? Oh, '09. Yankees played that infamous 4-game series against the, Red Sox in August of '09, and it was the A-Rod walk-off in the 15th, and then the Sunday night game when, the Sox went ahead 2-1 on a Victor Martinez home run, and then Tex and Damon went back to back, or Damon and Tex went back to back to pull ahead, and the Yankees won. And I
oh
looked at my
yeah.
brother. We were at Yankee Stadium in section 305 in my old season ticket, spot, and I said to my brother, I'm like, "They're winning the World Series. I feel it. They're winning the World Series. I know it." I felt it in my bones. I'm like, "There's no way they're not winning the World Series this year."
Oh, so would you please, like shoot me a message when you have that feeling about this season, that moment? Let me
Yeah,
know.
I don't have that feeling yet. I don't have it yet, but
That's fair.
occasionally
That's
I
fair.
occasionally predict things correctly. 1997, my dad got mad at me. I'll never forget this. April 1997, I was on the phone with my dad. I was still up in, Oswego because it took me a while to get out of college. And
Geneseo. There's
nice.
scenic sisters too.
I almost applied to Geneseo. Um, and I said to my dad, he's like, "So who's winning the World Series this year?" I said, "The Marlins." He goes, "The Marlins? What do you mean the Marlins?" I said, "The Marlins." He's like, "What about the Braves?" I said, "They're going to go through the Braves and they're going to win the World Series." So the Marlins win the World Series in 97. And my dad calls me up and he said, "Did you put money on that?" I said, "No, I probably should have. I probably should have." Yeah. I don't know why.
Wow.
I just had a feeling. It was like April, it was like the end of April, like April 20 something. We were on the phone just chatting about baseball, and I think he was mad that I didn't pick the Yankees because they won in 96. And I'm like, "No, I'm feeling Marlins this year." And he thought I was crazy.
Oh man, does he blame
Mhm.
you? Did he blame
Did he
you?
blame me? Did he blame me? No, but he remembered that I said that, and he called me up. He said, "Please tell me you put money on that." I said, "No, I didn't, because 'cause I'm not a gambler, so no, I did not, but I should have."
Oh my god, that's hilarious. I've never made a great prediction, like that before, so I can't wait for you to get that vibe this year. I hope it comes.
Me
So
too.
basically yeah, yeah, I think I is there anyone in the chat that doesn't want Stacy to predict, a World Series win for us? Uh, but, so let's talk about the after series here. On to, Arizona. So here's this like nifty little tidbit about Arizona that I picked up on opening day. Um, they sent 18 men to the plate and scored 14 runs off of three Rockies pitchers.
The poor
Um,
Rockies.
the 14 runs scored in a single inning were the most scored by a team on opening day in the modern era.
Mhm. The poor Rockies. Ugh. I feel so bad for the Locked On Rockies host because after those innings happened, he was in our private chat just like, "This is gonna be the longest season of my life." It's like, "If it's gonna be like this is gonna be so bad."
I mean, how many seasons do they get to say we're building back up?
Well, there was a couple of seasons ago, Locked On did a live trade deadline show. So all the hosts who had trades went into the live chat on YouTube, and poor Paul was sitting there, and the Rockies did nothing. And he was just sitting there going, like, I can't even, I have nothing. He said, "I have nothing to say. I can't even form a thought right now." And we always bring that up. That's why we don't do a live trade show anymore, because it's like, what if someone doesn't do a trade and you have to sit there and be like, "Yeah, my team didn't bother trying to help themselves in any way, shape, or form." And the Rockies seem to be that type of team anyway when it comes to free agency and the trade deadline. Those fans deserve better. They really do.
And they're the team I get to watch on my 60th birthday on August 25th against the Yankees. So hopefully that's more than guaranteed win. You know,
Yeah.
so we'll see. But So my question, my I think the biggest question about the series against the Diamondbacks, other than the fact that, again, like we already mentioned a couple times, not going to be an easy haul. Um, are we going to be seeing Monty? Is this going to be our first reunion with Monty in a new well other than the Rangers, it is new uniform.
I thought I saw something that said yes, but I'm not sure. That would be something.
Yeah,
Um,
and
I understand why he wouldn't wanna come back here if he did get an offer because of how they discarded him and how Cashman was just like, "Yeah, he's not good enough for a playoff rotation." And then what did he do? He helped the Rangers win a World Series, and why would you wanna come back here and be like, "Yeah, hi, remember the bad stuff you said about me?"
yeah,
So I
yeah.
understand that, but there was a lot of fishy stuff happening this offseason, and something's going on with the owners because there's no reason why some of these guys weren't signed until the last minute. I'm not a
Yeah.
conspiracy theorist, I'm not one of those people, but something's happening. Something not right is happening with baseball ownership, and I don't like it. Everything's fishy to me.
Mhm. Okay, you heard it here first. The tide is low and the fish are smelly in MLB, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-huh. There's no reason why a reigning Cy Young winner had one offer until February. Like, what? I know Snell's walk numbers are high. I know that, I joked about it that Rodon was basically like Snell allowing all those runners on, but then getting out of it. But there's no reason why someone like him and someone like Montgomery weren't signed sooner.
So it was
It's
more than Boris just being a jackass and
right.
waiting for the highest
The
number.
owners liked having that excuse though, because they figured they could pin it on Boris. Like, oh, well, he's their agent. We can do this. But there are a bunch of other people who aren't playing right now, who still haven't been signed. So I don't know. Something's going on there.
D-Rod saying this offseason was a market correction. Thank Boris for that.
I don't know.
But
I blame
TC,
the owners.
yep, and TC
Oh,
is agrees.
this doesn't. I'm just wearing this. I don't feel that way right now.
That's a disclaimer. And
That's my disclaimer.
I'm wearing my shirt, my Munson jersey backwards because I was just wanting to show the greatness and put his blessing on the end of this series. Um, so yes, I'm wearing it backwards, but for purpose. So, but as we wind down, I do want to make a quick mention of something that the Pinstripe Chronicles team is doing that I think is really special. And I just want to get the word out there and tell you that we're doing our first ever YouTube fundraiser for Parkinson's. April is Parkinson's Awareness Month, and we've chosen that as our fundraiser recipient. And so the way YouTube fundraisers work is we get zero of anything, and the funds are raised by joining our show, joining our chat, and hitting super chat. Um, and every dollar raised through super chats goes directly to the World Parkinson's Coalition. And so as you see there, the Pinstripe Chronicles crew, that's Bobby Tatz, that's Donald Stewart, Rob Barrios, and myself will be live on YouTube on next Saturday, April 6th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we'll be joined throughout the day by other Yankee podcasters and guests. And so really hope that you join the chat and consider giving a super chat shout out for World Parkinson's Coalition. And for those of you that don't know, real quick, it's a chronic and progressive neurological disease, often recognized by tremors, muscular rigidity, slowness in movement, and an impaired balance. It affects up to 10 million people worldwide at the moment. And you'd be most publicly familiar of it from Michael J. Fox and previously Robin Williams. And so, and by the way, research is showing that the outward signs of Parkinson's are not the only impact. There's also a severe mental health impact on people with Parkinson's, with Robin Williams being the case in point. And so, what makes the World Parkinson Coalition different is that they're not an entirely research-based organization. They bring together physicians, researchers, and people with Parkinson's and their families together in one space so that they could teach about what's out there and what protocols might be available for, and network with each other. And so it's meant to be a support network for people with Parkinson's to learn more about the status of treatments these days. And so all of the money goes to holding these worldwide conferences that take place every 2 years. And in between, they are doing a lot of on the ground grassroots work at local levels, doing the same thing, connecting researchers and physicians and patients together. So it's unique because it's forming a supportive circle and getting the knowledge and intervention to the people more directly than they might ordinarily have the access to. So that will be next Saturday, and hope to see you all stop by. And we'll be talking about it all week. Um, I want to put in the chat as we start to wrap up. Um, Here comes Stacy's information. You absolutely positively need to subscribe to Locked On Yankees podcast. There's a link for it. It is an absolutely dynamite show, and very informative and a fun chat, just like this one. Very active. And so, Stacy, once again, you know, um, I hear that you have news about Locked On Yankees podcast that you were sharing before the show.
Oh, yes,
Um,
I'm getting a new co-host this week. Not sure exactly when he's starting because they have to do all the onboarding and get him all his logins for everything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having someone to talk to because this past month talking by myself has been uh, as much as I talk, because people will think you talk a lot. I do, but I don't like talking to myself. So I like having someone to bounce off of. And I'm looking forward to having that interaction again because I do try to talk to the audience when it's me by myself and I ask questions and stuff as if I'm having a conversation. But as I was saying before we started this, it's so hard to fill a half hour by yourself. I didn't realize how hard it was before or until after Steve left, and then I remembered, "Oh, yeah, this isn't that easy to do." Because when I was solo at the beginning, we only did 18 minutes, 23 minutes, like, they were shorter shows. It was only 2 segments, not 3, and it was easier to fill up. It's hard to fill in 30 minutes by yourself. I don't know how radio hosts do it. It's just wow.
well, you did a fantastic job Friday night, when I stopped in, and so, but I'm glad to hear that you're having a co-host. And oh, and by the way, Stay Scott's on Twitter. Make sure you follow her there. And coincidentally, I mean, Stacy and I have so much in common. Having just met, especially, I just want to let my followers know that will also have a new co-host starting soon, and that's just a tease for now. But I think everyone, um, uh, most of everyone, if not everyone in the room right now, knows my co-host, and I'm just super excited for that person to start, and hopefully will be next week. So I know everyone's been wondering, and like Stacy, I'm not going to be. I've had the great luck of great co-hosts coming on after Chris needed to step away, and but I'm going to be locked on a new co-host um, next week. By next week, I hope. And so let's get back. Let's end the way we started with the answer to the trivia question of the week. So I think I saw at least one correct answer here, but I'm not exactly remembering who it might be. But so feel free to brag out about it. Um, so here's the answer, and the answer is Jarrett Wright. Jarrett Wright caught the eyes of the Yankees after having a career season with the Braves, going 15-8 with a 3.28 ERA while striking out 159. So there you have it with the trivia question of the week. Stacey, anything you want to share before we sign off?
Uh, no, I don't think there's anything really going on. I'm just excited that the season's starting, that we're back to 5 days a week on Locked On Yankees. And, I went to school to be a broadcaster and then didn't do anything with it for the first 20 years after I graduated college. So it's nice that I'm doing what I went to school for finally. Not that there were podcasts in the 90s. I went to school when we were still literally cutting up tape with razor blades and taping things and sticking carts into machines and none of this digital stuff that we do now. But I'm just so happy that the season started again and started well. And hopefully things will keep going well for the Yankees. But everyone, remember, manage your expectations. It's 162 games. It's going to be like this. And things will be fine. Just Zen baseball. Breathe in, breathe out. Everything will be calm. It'll be fine.
I am going to try. I might have to play that back a few times. But
it took me a long time to get to that point, by the way, because I used to be the type of person that if they lost in the playoffs, I'd literally break things. I've broken mugs. I broke a TV remote when they lost in '97 to Cleveland. I threw it across the room and it shattered. So it's taken years to get to this point.
Well, let me tell you something, Stacey. Oswego did right by you. And I know, and Oswego's known for its comms department. I mean, David Letterman went there, for crying out loud, right? Isn't that where he went? Or
No,
was it Al Roker? Al Roker.
Al Roker.
All
Al
right.
Roker, and he spoke at my commencement. So
wow, amazing. Well,
and it was 91 degrees that day too, because the year before I graduated, it was snowing on graduation day. So when Al Roker showed up for our graduation, we were like, "Thank you for the weather. Thank you, Al."
well, see,
Yeah.
I see Al needing to join Locked On Yankees in the near future. Um, but thank you so much, Stacey, for being with me today. And sharing so much great information. And I just look forward to continuing to see your show, and hopefully you'll come be part of a trio at some point in the future.
Hey,
But
anytime you want me on, let me know. I don't do
oh,
anything on Sundays other than, riding on my bike every once in a while on Sundays. I don't really do anything. So just let me know.
excellent. I will definitely be hitting you up because I know everyone watching now and watching later will enjoy this so much. So thank you so much again. And for the rest of you, those of you in the chat, my ride-alongs, my ride and dies, really appreciate that you're with us every week. And those of you listening now, just have a great day and keep going, Yankees. Have a good day, everyone. Bye for now.